So today we're doing another rewind video, and it was gonna happen sooner or later. We're talking about Amoeba in Hollywood. I've mentioned them a bunch of times on previous episodes. I've been there a ton of times. I can't remember the first time I went to Amoeba in Hollywood, but I've also been to the one in San Francisco one time. They're really great. They're huge. Every time I go there, it's usually pretty crowded. There's a good amount of people there, but in this day and age, even with vinyl, this resurgence of vinyl and stuff, it's still always kind of amazing that these stores, being this big, are still able to kind of maintain a business. Maybe because they've never expanded beyond those three, and maybe that helps. I don't know. But the Hollywood one has now moved to a new location. They were planning on doing that before the pandemic. The pandemic kind of got in the way of them sort of having a kind of farewell tour for the original store there. The new one's open now. I haven't had the chance to go into it. It looks pretty nice. It looks maybe a little bit smaller, but still looks like they still got a huge selection of stuff there. I always find good stuff there. You just I spend hours there when I visit, digging through all like the bargain CDs and stuff, and they have a great selection of vinyl, and a lot of staff there, very helpful, and have a good kind of handle on to help your questions or whatever. But I don't know what else I can really say about that store that hasn't been said before. So let's just get into my stuff that I picked up there. This is from December 2019. I think it was December 9th, 2019 to be exact. That's how we like to do it here, don't we? No, here we go. 1984, we get the second studio record by Husqvardu and Zen Arcade. This is kind of a concept record, which I wasn't really hip to until recently. I'd like to go back and give this a listen now with that in my mind and listen to it and sort of see if I can really kind of pick it up. I guess the concept, the story is about a kid who kind of has an unfulfilling home life and decides to run away, and then finds that the world's pretty unfulfilling. So I remember them being advertised in all the skateboard magazines I used to read in the 80s, but I really never listened to them back then. I think the first thing I ever heard by them was that song Makes No Sense at All. I think I saw the video on MTV of all places. And it was funny because I think I was aware and had a few CDs by Bob Mould, his solo stuff, before I think I had any Husqvardu. They were featured in a really good documentary I just watched. All the lyrics and stuff are in the book. I guess that's cool since it's a concept record. But the documentary was called Minnesota Hardcore. They're from Minnesota. They covered them quite a bit, especially early on that documentary. It's worth checking out if you can find it. I mean, it's done through PBS, and I guess it was maybe on their website still streaming for free, so it might still be there. I'll look it up. I'll put a link if it still is there. I'll put a link below so you can watch it. It was like a 7-part series. But anyways, back to Husqvardu. Great record. Like I said, I didn't really have these guys back in the day, and just, last couple of years I started picking up their CDs. I'm not sure if there was like a newer version of these put out with like extra tracks or demos or any stuff like that. Some of the tunes on here that I like are Turn on the News, Whatever, What's Going On, which is not a cover of the Marvin Gaye song, and Never Talking to You Again. That's a really, really good song by Husqvardu. So that's Zen Arcade. 1986, we got some more Husqvardu. We got Candy Apple Gray. This is their 5th studio album, but their first for Warner Brothers. Like I mentioned, they moved to Warner Brothers after SST, and this is their first one, unsurprisingly, with Warner Brothers behind them. This is their first one to chart on Billboard. This is where they sort of start kind of shifting to more alternative, less kind of hardcore, like speed record kind of sound. And they get more into a little more, just alternative sounds and stuff like that, the lyrics and everything. And then like Warner Brothers used to do on the CDs when they first started issuing them, they have these notes in the back with a little history of the band. I've never been really, really into like that hardcore punk. There's a couple of bands that I like, including Husqvardu, where I like some of their songs, but So I don't know, like with Husqvardu, if I side a little more towards this later stuff that's a little more alternative rock, less hardcore. But some of the tracks on here that I really dig are All This I've Done For You, Dead Set on Destruction, Don't Want to Know If You Are Lonely, and Sorry Somehow. That's a really, really good song. That's something that sounds like it could have, charted on like, Billboard or crossed over as like kind of a single or whatever. I don't know if maybe they released it as a single, I'm not sure. But anyways, good pick up more Husqvardu for the collection. From 2019, got a little more punk. We got Screaming Females and Singles 2. They're a little compilation of some random singles that they had put out, put them all in one place on this nice CD on Don Giovanni Records, their longtime home. And some pretty cool covers on this. They do like covers Patti Smith and Sheryl Crow and Taylor Swift and Neil Young and Annie Lennox. So kind of nice hearing them do their little take on some of those songs. I went and saw them live, and they put on such a great show. Marissa, she does all the artwork. She writes most of the songs. She's the guitar player. She sings. What can't she do? She's awesome. When I saw them live for the first time and saw her play guitar in person, I had this feeling like this must have been what it was like to walk into a club and see Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen before you knew who they were, and just be like blown away by this person playing guitar. I mean, she's incredible. I don't know. I don't pay attention too much to like guitar magazines and stuff like that. But if they're not covering her, they're not interviewing her the way they would interview Eddie Van Halen or whoever, then they are missing out, because she really is just incredible. They haven't had an album in a little while, maybe like 2 or 3 years, so they're probably due for one. But like, a new, not a batch of singles or something, but like a new studio record or whatever. But some of the tracks on here that I dig, there's a whole bunch of them here. No More I Love Yous, which is a cover. Shake It Off, which is a cover. Good Flying Bird, Pretty Okay. Because the Night, another cover. If It Makes You Happy, another cover. Hopeless is a demo, but it's really, really good. Love that song. I Do is awesome. Zoo of Death and Arm Over Arms, really good too. On their cover of Because of the Night, the Patti Smith song she wrote with Bruce Springsteen, she does like sort of a duet with Shirley of Garbage. But really great pick up. Love this band. Can't say enough about them. Screaming Females. Also from 2019, also one of my favorite bands, the final studio album by the Muffs, No Holiday. Released right around when Kim passed away, unfortunately. And I remember the lead up to this record. I think they released the artwork earlier, maybe the end of the summer, perhaps, or something like that. And nobody knew but her family and friends that she was sick. And when they released this artwork, everybody online assumed, oh, they're putting out a live album. But this actually is a photograph taken at their very last live performance. Obviously, they didn't know that at the time, but that's what the cover was. That's the meaning behind why that's the album cover. And certainly you could see, I think I even thought this was going to be a live album when I saw that artwork. But I don't know. I've said so much about the Muffs. What more can you say? Great band. She wrote awesome tunes. I remember picking this up at Amoeba, and then like that night, just driving around Los Angeles, popped it into the stereo, the CD player, and just drove around that night just listening to this over and over again. And it was so awesome. Sad listening to it, hearing her voice, knowing what was going on when this record was being made. But it was a nice batch of songs to go out on. Some of these tracks that I really like on this record are Sky, Happier Just Being With You, You Talk and You Talk, Pollyanna, A Lovely Day, Boo-Hoo, Earth Below Me, which is really good. And probably my favorite track on this album, The Kids Have Gone Away. I love that song. It's like it almost feels like it could be like an anthem. I mean, I think right away when I heard that song the first time, I instantly loved it. Really good. And the other kind of nice thing on this is Melanie, who was in the original version of the Muffs and played in the Pandoras with Kim. The two of them, I didn't know if they sort of had a falling out over the years and kind of, were able to kind of mend their friendship, which is really nice. And she makes an appearance on here on Pollyanna, which is really cool. But that's the Muffs, No Holiday. Definitely go out and grab this one if you don't have it. 2019, we get the collaboration Karen O from the AAS and Danger Mouse and Lux Prima. Very atmospheric, mellow record. Would be great to listen to late night, just chilling out, lights turned down, setting the scene for you. But really good, I really like this stuff. I don't know if you would kind of call this like electronica, maybe you'd kind of categorize it, but it's really cool. I like it a lot. Big fan of the Yeah, if you may know. Really love Karen O. Love her voice, her energy, her stage performances are always awesome. It's kind of weird to me that the band, like the last studio album that the Yeah did was like, I think it was 2013, Mosquito, and we're closing in on almost 10 years. They did a bunch of live performances for the anniversary of Fever to Tell. I went to that show. It was really great, but I don't know why they haven't put out any new music all this time. I hope they're working on stuff, but they all seem to be doing all these little side projects and just no real news or word or kind of like hint that that they're doing anything together again. They're obviously still tight. There were no like issues or drama or whatever, as far as you can tell, that the band split up. They sort of support each other's side projects and everything constantly. So I don't know what the deal is, but I like these side projects that she puts out. I always enjoy them, but it'd be cool to is that working? It'd be cool to hear some new music by AAS. We'll see. One of these days, I guess we'll get it. But so some of the tracks on here that I really like are Nox Lumina, Reveries, Leopard's Tongue, Redeemer, Woman, Ministry, and the title track, Lux Prima, parts 1, 2, 3, 4. Really good tune. That's kind of long. I forget how long it is, maybe 9 minutes or something, but that's a really cool kind of, I don't know if you'd call it like a suite, because this kind of goes in all these different directions. That song changes up a little bit here and there, but great record. Really love this. Danger Mouse and Karen O. 2015, we get the Revivalists and their album Men Amongst Mountains. Really good. I don't remember. Oops, this is broken. The first tune I heard by them was Wish I Knew You, which is really popular, a really good song. They're kind of like folk, kind of alternative rock, kind of that kind of vibe to them. But I don't remember where I heard that for the first time. Maybe there's a really good college radio station around here that plays a lot of good stuff. Maybe I heard it there, I'm not sure. But picked this up not knowing anything else by them, and it's a really good record. If you like that kind of music, I highly recommend this. I'm pretty sure this did fairly well, so I think it's kind of a popular one. Some of the other tracks on here that I like are Bulletproof, Move On, and King of What? What are you the king of? I don't know if they ever answer it. Maybe they're saving it for another record. But anyways, again, really good. Really like this one. 1983, we get the soundtrack to Wild Style, the seminal hip-hop breakdancing kind of movie that everybody loved. It's a great, great film. I think I only saw it for the first time pretty recently, a few years ago. Knew of it. I think it was a little more difficult to find. It's not something you saw streaming everywhere. And best thing about the film is just that it's this time capsule of that time in New York City, and with everything going on with, sort of hip hop kind of becoming more and more popular. I don't have a ton of hip hop. I've got a pretty good amount. One of my favorite songs of all time is Jam On It by Nucleus. I love that. I love those. I think I tend to prefer that like 80s kind of hip hop more than anything else. I don't know why. I just, gravitate more towards that stuff. I like it a lot. I like a lot of other stuff after that as well, but I think if I were to like sit down and, compile a list of my favorite songs, hip hop songs, I think probably a lot of them would be coming from the 80s. It's great that this exists, you know what I mean? It'd be a shame if nobody captured that, So So it's good to have. And like I said, after I saw the film, I was just kind of on the hunt for this. This is just one CD, but I think they put out like an anniversary collection of this CD, like a 2-disc set. I'm not sure what's on the second CD, but some really cool photos and stuff in the booklet, and some, you know, history from about the film, some of the people talking about it and stuff. Did a good job on this. Sounds really good as well. Chris Stein from Blondie is sort of the one who kind of put this whole soundtrack and score together, and I guess rounded up everybody to contribute. Some of the tracks on here that I dig are Wild Style Subway Rap 2, Double Trouble at the Amphitheater, and if you're a fan of the Beastie Boys, you'll probably recognize some of that. And the Cold Crush Brothers at the Dixie. That's another really good track, you know. It's just fascinating to listen to these guys, you know, kind of freestyle. Just some amazing stuff, you know, that I really like. And there's tons of these guys from the early days there who pop up on this, you know. So it's really, if you're a fan of hip hop, I'm sure you have this, you know, I don't need to tell you. 2012, we get Jeff the Brotherhood and their album Hypnotic Nights. I think I first heard these guys in 2008, if I remember correctly. I think they had like a EP or an album, Heavy Days, or We Are the Champions, one of those, I forget. I think that was the first thing I heard by them. I saw them at Maxwell's in Hoboken, I guess promoting this record. I didn't have it, obviously. And I was kind of disappointed by the show. They have some really good songs, but when we went and saw them at that show, it seemed like they were kind of in this kind of like jam band mode or whatever. Like they were just kind of like playing like these long extended jams, and it was just like, you know, come on, man, how about a song, man? You know, it's just, I just remember it being a little disappointing for some reason, but, you know, whatever. But pretty talented guys. It's two brothers. I don't know if they're still, I guess they're still putting out stuff. I'm not sure. I should probably look that stuff up, right? I don't know. Some of the tracks on here that I like are Changes, Hypnotic Winter, Hypnotic Mind, and Region of Fire is really good. So that's Jeff the Brotherhood and Hypnotic Nights. 2015, we get the final studio album credited to Youth Lagoon and Savage Hills Ballroom, a collection of 10 songs by Youth Lagoon. First discovered this dude, it's just like this one guy pretty much, Trevor Powers, who, you know, was recording as Youth Lagoon. First heard, I think in 2011, he had a record called Year of Hibernation, which I really liked quite a bit. I had tickets to see him maybe in 2014, but I couldn't go. I think I was working on a show and we were shooting that day, and we would shoot late into the night, so I wasn't able to go. I had to give the tickets away. But he's still putting out music. This was just the final Youth Lagoon record. Now he just records as his name, Trevor Powers. But, you know, kind of, I don't know if he's still doing sort of similar music. There must be some difference, or why would you just change the name? Why would you get rid of Youth Lagoon? But Youth Lagoon, it's kind of like electronica, kind of like dreamy pop. His voice is kind of unique. It might remind you of somebody like singing after they've sucked on some helium or something, and that probably instantly makes a lot of you just go, thanks, but no thanks. But it fits for me. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it fits with the music perfectly. But really good stuff, you know. Really kind of like similar to like the Lux Prima. It's just kind of like sort of chill music, you know. Just kind of put on maybe late night or whatever, and just kind of listen to. I would really like that stuff a lot. Some of the tracks on here I like are No One Can Tell, Kerry, Again, and Highway Patrol Stun Gun. Here I am saying how mellow and chill this music seems to me, and the song is called Highway Patrol Stun Gun. That doesn't make sense, does it? But it is, trust me. But that's it from Amoeba in Hollywood. And I really, if you've never been there and you get the chance, by all means, you should check it out. I think you'd probably really enjoy it. Prices can be really good, especially the used CDs. You can find stuff really cheap. These were all used. Probably a lot of them were $2 or $3 maybe. But you know, great store. I miss it. I can't wait to get back out there and check out the new place. And so that's it. If you have some experiences at Amoeba, I would love to hear them. Let me know what you think of these albums, any tracks on them you like. And thanks for watching. See you next time.